Well, we'd like to thank you all for coming. This is the week 5 networking class where they do their final project. The past, about 12, 13 weeks of class, these fellas have been learning the concepts needed to build and maintain a network. And now we've given them a very unrealistic time frame of about a week to put something together and to show that they've actually learned something and they paid attention in class. And this is where all you guys are going to be a little ways down the road. So this is hopefully an encouragement for you to pay attention in class. So I'm going to turn it over to these fellows and let them introduce themselves.
Good morning. We'd like to thank you for attending. We're Robert Ritter's Networking 5 group. My name is Matt Gum. Here to my left, in order, Mike Hustle, Brian Long, Matt Spurlock, David Hughes, and Josh Peterson. This is a brief table of contents, kind of our outline of how our presentation is going to go today. We're going to discuss our overall project, take you through our planning, design, and implementation of that project, discuss the details and the requirements that we had to meet, and then open the floor for questions for y'all. We as a group planned a network strategy. This is our board that we started with, our domain structure, child domains, our OU structure. This is where we started, was on the board. Then we got approval from our IT manager, which is our instructor. This is where we also designed our technologies that we were going to use throughout our domain structure. And then we actually took our plan, our technologies, and implemented them into an actual network. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what we were required to do. Lake Eddy Sports is an outdoor sporting goods retail chain based in Laramie, Wyoming. The company began with a single local store in 1969, and it now has large stores in 12 major markets across the country. Recently, Lake Eddy Sports purchased the Canadian clothing manufacturer Elk Island Sportswear. This new company manufactures private label clothing for Lake Eddy, as well as producing name brand clothing for some other well-known companies. Lake Eddy is expanding, and we were asked to design the company's Active Directory and networking infrastructure. While an influx of new investors has brought a healthy amount of expansion capital, management wants a strict justification for every expenditure in the new design, and extravagance was discouraged. Of course. So now, we're going to explain how we did it. I'm going to turn it over to our individual groups to explain in detail their structure and role in our network environment.
I'm going to be going over the overall structure of our United States forest here. The domain controllers, we set up redundant domain controllers that if there was an outage, they'd still be able to pick up the slack and hit it going out. DNS installed on both for new resolution within the domain and to the child OUs. Child OUs were connected using VPN connection. A DHCP, VPN, and Win server was set up on one machine. DHCP was set up with 10 static addresses for the servers that would be in the parent domain. And there was a miniscope for the rest of the clients and other computers that would be connected to automatically obtain from that DHCP. The domains are represented by the triangles OUs by the circles. We have our main OU structure. The sub-OUs are going to be for the corporate office, and there's another sub-OU for the retail stores. And that's about it for the overview on this. We'll pass it on to Brian.
I'm going to go over the file server and the OU structure a little bit. The requirements for the file server was that we had redundancy for fault tolerance. Or not redundancy, but just fault tolerance. So we implemented RAID 5, so we had backup if one of the disks went bad. We also had to implement a way to minimize the help desk calls for lost or overwritten files. So we enabled shadow copying on the RAID 5 disk. The OU structure was set up to where the departments were individual OUs, so that we could easily organize them, people by departments, both shipping and corporate. We also set up individual OUs for the retail stores, so that when we expand for new stores, we have another OU for that store. Make it easy that way. We also had to set up a password policy for both the corporate and the shipping, and make one more complex than the other. The shipping department, because of their equipment, could not have complex passwords and had to limit the amount of characters in that, whereas the corporate users needed complex and longer passwords, so we set some different policies. I'm going to turn it over to Matt to discuss the policy.